Well, I used to say, I wish everyone who was gay could be pink for a day, but then I figured most of them would just not go to work. But the idea came that, what if they turned pink and it didn't go away? You have to live with it, you have to be exposed. What you get in the story of Pink is the way it affects the lives of the characters, which are mirrored in the world around them. It's the entire world that turns pink. Everyone who's gay, lesbian, or bisexual turns pink in every country. Jerry Rosenberg, who is my executive producer, was the executive producer of A Night with Janis Joplin, which was nominated for a Tony last year. I say that with pride because Jerry's a good guy. He read the novel and showed it to some other folks who wanted it in the form of a play. Well, I didn't know how to write a play, as I told you. I have no idea. I didn't know how to write a novel, but I did. At the day that Jerry told me he wanted it into a play form, I said, sure, absolutely, having no idea what I was going to do, but I wasn't going to let that opportunity pass by. That very day, a friend of mine introduced me to someone who had read the novel and wanted to meet me. Turned out the guy's name was David, and his whole life had been devoted to studying plays, reading plays, writing plays. That's what he wanted to do. So he said he would love to get involved with it. For 2 weeks, David came over with a recorder. I would sit there in my den and close my eyes and become the character, and he would tape record it. He'd go home at night, stay up all night, type it up in the format of a play, and the next morning, what we did the night before would be in my inbox. His girlfriend wasn't very pleased with that, but we got through it. And in 2 weeks, we had a play. The script,
it has such heart, and it's such a different way of looking at, well, people. You know, it brings up the idea of sort of gender identity or homosexuality, bisexuality as very blatantly comparing it to racial profiling and viewing, and the way it makes it to where it's less of a kind of ambiguous factor, whereas when you see someone's pink, you know at that point they have at least some preference that is not considered heterosexual, and that was pretty interesting. And the characters were fun. They all very much have just a heart about them, a very, very solid, grounded, realistic view, and I think that's one of the bigger appeals of the script.
Jeff Wells is a producer, and Jeff was there for the original reading. When it was finished and I put out a casting call, we didn't have a director. We couldn't find anybody who wanted to direct it. So on that first casting call, absolutely no one showed up. It was the last day of the Shrimp Festival in Fernandina, the food festival at Metropolitan Park. There was a great day at the beaches, and not one person showed up. So I was standing in the club, and I just bowed my head and I said, God, I don't get this. And God spoke to my heart and said, be patient.
It turns out I was the only person who showed up. Jay actually said, don't bother coming. And I said, well, just wait a moment. Let me go ahead. I might want to talk to you about a few things. And you know, I let him know that I had directing experience, that I'd basically done theater for 10, 20 plus years. And the rest kind of is history.
He convinced me to wait, and once he got there, we talked for about an hour, and I realized that was the reason God told me to be patient. Jeff was the director. I love Jacksonville. I think it's one of the most beautiful cities, and the people here are just amazing. I live in an area, Avondale, where there's a gay person on every block and has been for years, and people learn to get along and put their differences behind them and appreciate each one for who they are. I'm very fortunate to live in such a place, and I can't sing the praises of Jacksonville enough. We have the most amazing gay and lesbian community here. People do get along, and I can think of no better place for Pink to premiere than Jacksonville, Florida. It's just perfect for me.
You know, they always say we're the biggest little city intermixed with, we're always on the brink of becoming a real big city. We have that desire, that potential that everyone keeps seeing, and we're always on the brink of moving forward into something. And it allows for something in its kind of infantile stages, like Pink, where it's gone piece by piece.
When I see the characters who are representing the characters in the play speaking the words I wrote, it's almost as if someone else wrote them. It's really good, and I don't say that in any braggadocious way. It touches my heart.
I think people have this assumption that actors just kind of jump on stage and start saying words and it's magic and it's perfect. And no, it's very hard work. You know, my actors, those who I have now, I must say I'm proud of them because not all of them are very experienced. You know, we have some who've been at it for years, and then we have a few who this is going to be their first production. And so it's a great mixture of levels of skill.
As far as the future of Pink, Jerry seems to think we're going to be in the Fringe Festival in New York, which is where they choose the plays that'll be off-Broadway the following year. If that's true, then we're going to try to take the entire cast to New York and to do the play in New York.
We have pinkplay.com. That's going to be our initial contact, and that will keep up to date on the next steps. You know, we are looking at other states of performing this. This is not the end of this show. This is just the beginning. Also, there will continue to be a Facebook group that will be working through the information.